What's going on, everyone? My name is Jared, and welcome back to TechWorks. So we have here again the iPhone XS Max. So obviously, I've seen this in the news a lot for a lot of different reasons the past couple days. I've had the phone for a little over about 2 weeks now. Um, I've had a great experience so far. There's been a couple big issues with the iPhone, or at least big issues, what people are saying are big issues with the iPhone XS and XS Max. One of them they're calling ChargeGate, and the problem was that some models were not getting a charge when you plugged them in. It wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't come up on the screen saying charging. It would only start charging if you had unlocked the phone after you plugged in the cable. So, as you can see, it lit up. It's charging. I have it on mute, or you hear the tone. So my phone was not affected by this issue. Now, Apple has also today released a 12.0.1 update saying that it's fixed a couple bugs, a couple of issues in the iOS 12 firmware that fixes these bugs specifically. So that was the first thing. Another thing was people complaining of bad cell reception or Wi-Fi reception in the phones. Now, again, I haven't seen that. So I would say my experience has been pretty good compared to what other people, like Lou on Unbox Therapy. He had a whole bunch of iPhones laid out, and about half of them charged, half of them didn't. I don't know what the issue was. It was obviously a software bug because Apple has since fixed it and released a fix. So whatever was going on, they have now taken care of. So this is going to be basically my longer term review. I'm not doing this one so far out because really it has been a rather similar experience to other iPhones, so I don't really think it solicits a longer time period for me to give you my feelings. So right off the rip, I'm just going to tell you, if you like the iPhone 10, if you like the design and wanted the bigger one, well, you got it. I wouldn't say that this is in terms of an S update. This is definitely it. This is not the biggest update that I have seen from Apple, but it's the typical ones that you would see in the off year. The TikTok release cycle is in full swing with these guys, and Apple actually said before that they were going to be doing a 3-year TikTok cycle, meaning that every fourth year, the 1, 2, 3 years would be the same, and then the fourth year would be a different version. So the 10 started the cycle supposedly this year, and then next year will be a bigger update to this design, and then the next year will be an actual solicited large update, maybe design change, whatever. Maybe a third camera pops in there, who knows. But I digress. The iPhone XS and XS Max are, fundamentally the same phone. I have a case on it because it's a very expensive phone and I really don't want it to break, even though there has been tests showing how durable this new glass is. Again, I really don't want to take that risk. Software experience has been great with iOS 12. There was a lot of things from Android that I did like that finally made it over. One of those things is grouped notifications. So how nice it is to actually have notifications that come in stacks. I don't have any right now, but if you get a bunch of texts, they will come up as a block of text or a block of emails versus having just scrolling through pages and pages of different notifications. Say you're in a group chat, that it gets to be ridiculous because you just don't know where it ends. It's just limitless. So I think iOS 12 was a big update. Hardware-wise, the phone is super fast. I wouldn't necessarily say I feel it as any faster than the 10, but I'm sure it is with a lot of processing things. That is with the new A12 chip that they have in there. So I'm not gonna discredit their SoCs are fantastic. The cameras have been good. I have noticed the little bit of facial smoothing, which reviewers were talking about, because I guess Apple hadn't let anyone know that there's going to be a pseudo beauty mode thrown in there. So that is in there. I don't think it's that bad with me personally, but it is there. I do notice it from time to time, especially comparing it with another phone. outside of that, I've had no issues with the phone. I think it is a phenomenal iPhone. I think it's as good as all the other iPhones. The camera quality is great. DSO Mark rated it the second best, right under the P20 Pro, which is a Huawei flagship. You have fast charging, again, if you buy the right brick. No dongle in the box, which for me, I don't care. I use Bluetooth headphones, so that's totally fine. You can buy Apple's fast charging brick, or I have plugged into the wall right now Anker's fast charging brick, which was probably half of the price, works just fine. What else more is there to say? Apple's been in the news a lot lately. They've been really laying in on their issues, and that's totally fine because they did it with Samsung, so why should Apple be any different? I feel like some people assume that Apple, well, they have, they're up here and everyone else is down here, and that's just not the case. Every manufacturer is going to run into issues, just like even the fourth gen Apple Watches. They're saying have a daylight savings bug, which makes it so the phone reboots and restarts. So there's always going to be software issues, and you just got to take that in stride. That's what I mentioned with my early adopter video. So if you get an iPhone, say for Christmas or around New Year's or whatever the case may be, you're probably not going to experience these bugs, the charging bug, the Apple Watch bug. All those should and hopefully will be ironed out by that time. So I kind of credit that to being an early adopter. Anyone who pre-ordered and got this phone right off the rip, you take that kind of as a risk and know it shouldn't happen, but it does. And that's just something you got to go through with. So short and sweet and to the point, this phone is a worthy phone. It's a solid phone. It's expensive, no doubt. It is, $1,300 for this model, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is the 256 gig model, so I went right in the middle. It's not 512. It wasn't 64 because I think this is just the right amount of storage. Of course, if you go to Android, you can do SD cards and expandable memory in certain phones, and it does come out more. But again, with the Note 9, you are looking at $1,000 phone, and of course higher if you get the highest memory version. There's always going to be pros and cons with both. If you're an Android fan, an Apple fan, whatever, I jump ship a lot. I try out a lot of Androids. I try almost every iPhone. The one thing I really do love is the Apple Watch, and I've said it time and time and time again because I really think Apple nailed the wearable compared to what Android has to offer right now. There is some decent ones like Galaxy Watch. I even like TicWatch for being a really low cost solution. I really truly think though, until Google releases a Google Watch or whatever they're going to call it, Android Wear is a dying thing. Especially with LG's last watch they just talked about this past week, with real mechanical watch hands and then a OLED display underneath. So you get a text and you see your hands in it and it looks stupid. They're just not making much progress in the Android watch game. Samsung is, but you can't even really call it an Android watch. So Apple Watch is really something that I love all the time. iPhone, I can give or take it or leave it, I guess is a better saying for the iPhone. There's a lot of things I like. There's some things that I feel restricted and I don't like. But, I know with an iPhone, a couple things that I'm always going to get an experience I know and that I like. I know iOS is a stable, for the most part, reliable OS. I know the Apple products, for the most part, are pretty well built, well constructed. They are, whether you believe so or not, in my opinion, they are quality as far as the materials. I personally, knock on wood, haven't had huge, life-changing issues with an iPhone that have made me want to never have one again. I've gone through little bugs here and there, but nothing nuts. So I always know what I'm getting into. I know I'm getting, the premium or pseudo-premium experience. I know that if I go to the Apple Store and I need help, they will be there. I know if I call their technical support hotline, whether or not they actually do help me, that's, neither here nor there. But I know that someone will be on the other end and they will be able to help me out, at least at one point, or at least direct me to where I should go. So I know the experience I'm getting. And sometimes pulling a one-off, like say going with OnePlus, I know their tech support is not awesome. So, there's reasons to go with a big company and reasons to jump ship and go maybe smaller or outside the box. But I do come back to Apple for a lot of reasons. One of them is just I guess, reliability, comfortability. Again, I do have a lot of Apple accessories in my home, like HomePod and stuff. And when I don't have an Apple product, it's kind of like, well, you're kind of missing the point. And I feel like Apple drives you to be in the ecosystem, not just with one product. Like, you can have the iPhone fine, but your iPhone's even better with the Apple Watch. And that's even better if you have a MacBook to sync your iMessage to. And that's even better if then you can AirPlay it over to your TV with an Apple TV or to your HomePod. So, they get you into their world, and that's fine. That's what they do. So, is the iPhone XS Max worth it? I would say if you're going to go with one, I would get the big one just because it is different. The XS is basically the 10. You could probably save a little bit of money if you just bought the 10 somewhere secondhand or leftover rather than get the XS. But if you want the newest, greatest, biggest XS Max in gold, well, that's the way to go, and that's the way I went. I do enjoy it. I do like it with my Apple Watch. It's a great pair. No issues. CarPlay works good. All that stuff. So is it worth it? Yes. Is it worth $1,300? Absolutely not. But that is just the price to play right now in today's world. So my name is Jared. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was pretty quick, but iPhones haven't changed much in a year, so I'm not going to bore you with all the finer details. Basically, it was a good incremental update, not a major update. And if you are looking for the latest, greatest, biggest iPhone, this is the one. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next video.